My coverage of Computex 2017 is brought to you by Be Quiet, Cable Mod, Vertigear, and EVGA. Go ahead and check out the links below for more info.
Alright guys, we are at the CRYORIG booth here at Computex 2017. Sorry my voice is pretty dead right now, but I'm joined here with Wifey Sauce. So first off, we've got the Taku. This thing might look a little familiar. I actually talked about this last year at Computex. They had sort of a prototype. Well, it's come a lot further along since then, and they're actually, they just launched a Kickstarter for it. You can go ahead and check that out. If they can actually get the funding on Kickstarter for this case, then we're going to start to see samples ship starting this year, which is pretty exciting. It's finally almost ready. First of all, you'll notice that it's pretty minimalistic, right? I mean, the aesthetic is pretty gorge. It might be a little bit Apple-esque, maybe too much for some of you. And it kind of does a couple things. It sort of hides your peripherals when you're not using them. You see the keyboard and mouse is sort of tucked away underneath. And then we've also got really a stand for your monitor, and it's made of a really nice, I believe it's aluminum material, very sturdy, and you can probably put a pretty hefty monitor on this thing without worrying about the wooden legs, the nice wooden legs giving out or anything like that. Another thing I want to mention before we crack this guy open is that right now the early bird special on Kickstarter is $250 to back for one of these units, and it goes up to $300 if you are not lucky enough to be one of the first to back this project. Now that is pretty steep for a small form factor mini ITX case, but you're always going to have to pay sort of a premium for these really niche products. But for those of us who actually need something like this, there really are few options. That being said, let's go ahead and crack that guy open. First of all, look at just that sort of effortless push that Wifey Sauce just demonstrated to really kind of pull out this tray and reveal all of your basic components. So you can see sort of the internal layout that we've got here. We'll just go across the board here. Starting from left to right, you've got support for an SFX or an SFXL power supply. Looks like they've got a modular unit in here with pretty decent space for cable management. Doesn't look like any of the cables so far are getting cramped here. And then we've got sort of a drive cage here for, I believe, a single 3.5-inch drive. It looks like you could maybe fit a second one there if you did some modifying, but I believe they said it only supports one at the moment. But then over here you've got full-length graphic support. Looks like they've got a Founders Edition in here, some sort of GTX 10 series card, which is 10-11 inches long, and it looks like it's fitting just fine. And obviously it looks like, based on how this is oriented, you've got a PCIe riser card, which is going from your motherboard to your graphics card. I asked, that is included, of course, with your motherboard. Here's a shot of that and the CPU. Now, you don't get a ton of CPU cooler clearance, obviously, but CRYORIG does make the amazing C7, which I did do a build with quite recently. It's a fantastic little cooler if you're not going to be doing much overclocking. And then over here, you do get a little drive cage for 2.5-inch drives. I believe you can fit 2 of them in here with an included 92mm fan that is in-house from CRYORIG. Goes up to 2200 RPM. It is PWM, and it's black sleeved, which is always very thoughtful, even though there's obviously no window. Wouldn't it be cool though if there was a window at the top, or at least the option for a see-through window so you could kind of glamorize the internal components? That would be pretty sweet. Over here you've got front I/O, 2 USB 3.0, as well as your audio and microphone jacks, and you can really see that there's a ton of ventilation just throughout this entire chassis. Not just the bottom, but the top as well. The sides are well ventilated, and the back is too. So honestly, even though there's only one of these included fans, you're going to get a lot of decent passive cooling just flowing through this case overall. Now, before we move on to the next good thing, really quick, in the comments, let me know which color scheme you guys like the best, because CRYORIG's still sort of going back and forth on which one they're going to be offering, and or if they're going to offer all of them. So here, first off, we've got white faceplates on all the models, regardless of the color of the shroud. The difference will be the shroud color and the legs, so the sort of leg finish. So we've got a light wood on the legs, black on the outside. I know you guys like black. It's actually not a bad looking one. I think this might be, no, this isn't my favorite one, but this is silver on the outside. You've got some darker wood legs, and then over here you've got black on black. Over here we've got silver for the chassis body, and then darker wooden legs next to it. Red on the outside, which is a bit more aggressive, a little bit more flashy, with some nice sort of subtle gray legs. And then finally at the end, I think this is Wifey Sauce's favorite, we've got a silver body, white faceplate, and those light wooden legs, which definitely looks pretty freaking classy. Which one do you guys like best? Let me know. So over here, guys, we've got the new CU lineup of CPU coolers from CRYORIG. And Paul and I actually talked about this on Awesome Hardware not too long ago when it first came out, or when it was first announced. This is still sort of in the works. This isn't a finished product by any means. It's still sort of conceptual. But basically what you have is all of CRYORIG's very popular, or most of their popular CPU coolers being given sort of a copper treatment with the fin stacks themselves. And this is actually not just copper plated, but it is full copper construction and materials through and through, not just the heat pipes, but the whole entire fin stack as well, which of course means much better heat conductivity than aluminum, which is what they're originally made from. And not only is that going to lower the thermals quite a bit, actually they were saying this one gets, on their first initial test, lowered temperatures by about 10 degrees Celsius. We're not sure how repeatable that is, but it's still kind of an impressive first impression. But it is also going to make these coolers a bit more expensive if they do come out, simply because it's copper material. It's a bit pricier than their aluminum brethren. So bear that in mind. You will be paying a price premium, but hopefully getting chillier temps as well. The other big difference between copper and aluminum heatsink construction is the weight factor. So aluminum, as we all know, I'm knocking things over here, is very, very light, whereas copper is not. It's super heavy. And in fact, I think this cooler alone right here, which is not terribly big, weighs over 2 kilograms. It's actually really heavy. You could kill someone with this easily. Wifey Sauce will demonstrate. No, I take it back. So what that also means is CryoRig still maybe has a bit more R&D to do to find a way to mount these coolers to little tiny CPUs and make sure that they're on there sturdily and not going to damage any part of the CPU, the board, or the cooler itself. The one that they said they have the most confidence in so far is this one, the C7, simply because it's already just so tiny, and even though it is still way heavier than any other cooler this size that I've ever held in my hand, it shouldn't be too much of an issue to mount this to a motherboard. So on that note, stay tuned for more information as it comes to light. Last thing to talk about here at the CryoRig booth, we've got the R5 cooler. This is sort of a follow-up, or sort of a revision, I guess, a response to their existing R1, which is a fantastic cooler, but there are some things about it that weren't super great. For example, RAM compatibility issues with the R1, particularly on the X99 platform, where you had RAM modules on either side of the CPU socket, which did pose some clearance issues for certain people, for certain situations. This is going to have full memory compatibility, whether you're talking X99, X299, which I did just confirm with them, and it's also going to support AM4 motherboards right out of the box. So that is really cool. Price point for this cooler is about $70. Check it out. It's going to be coming out later this year. Now, one thing I'm really disappointed about not seeing here at the CryoRig booth is their new H7 Quad Lumi that they announced, the collaboration project they've done with NZXT to build upon their existing H7, but with RGB LED supported by the CAM software. So that's actually been a real bummer, not being able to catch one of those. What the heck? Wait, what the hell is that? Is that it? Is this seriously it? Oh my god. Oh my god, this is it. This is it. Guys, just follow my lead. Follow my lead. I don't know what I'm doing. Just follow my lead. Oh my god, get the hell out.